Yamamoto Kingdom. Anyone want to try the next one?
Who's that, the red one?
Anyone?
Not sure. Yeah, which order are you going in?
It'll be red, blue, black, yellow, pink, green.
That's all over the
Blue,
place.
Dan, Knight of the Elof tribe. Black, Goshi, the Knight of the Sharma tribe. Yellow, Boy, Knight of the Dime tribe. And he is a boy. You see the lack of a skirt?
Oh.
He's got a boy.
I like the Trini better.
Pink, May, Princess of the Rasha tribe. Yeah? Yes. Burai. Just Burai. Just a guy. He has some backstory. It's awesome, and you should watch it. And if you have any interest in seeing what Power Rangers came from, watch this. Admittedly, the Green with Evil saga is the best part of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And it stands right alongside the Japanese version for different reasons, but great reasons nonetheless.
Yeah.
But in 1987, we had Dynaman. A 6-episode dubbed Sentai series.
I've actually seen it.
Yes. You've seen it on YouTube.
It's pretty astounding.
It's hilarious and awesome.
The characterization they give Amy, like the opening sequence they put together, is kind of amazing.
What's nice about it is it kept the Japanese name, the Japanese actors, they just dubbed over the voices. And anyone who's seen Godzilla knows how funny this can get. And of course they changed the names to, the red is Wushi, black, Hoba, blue, Frankie, yellow's Cowboy. He doesn't have a name, it's Cowboy. And the pink is Soljin. They didn't have a skirt in this one. Not all Sentais have skirts. There was Jetman. Jetman's interesting. Why? It was almost our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There were talks into making this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The talks went too long. They saw the next series and they thought, well, what kid doesn't like dinosaurs? Birds? Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs won. And we lost out on what is one of the best old school Sentai shows. And why is it so awesome? Well, one, it had the first Tokusatsu video game, Jetman for the NES, which will beat you. It is not easy. You know how hard NES games are. And you know how hard Japanese people like their games. But it was awesome because of this guy. Guy Yuki. You know how the red is normally the awesome guy, the leader, the one everyone looks up to? The badass of groups. This was Guy. It's easy to say that he stole the show. He was the bad boy, quote unquote, because it can't be too bad on a kid's show. Sure, he smoked, he drank, he had tons of girlfriends, but he was also probably the heart of the series and the most depressing part of it. They won in the end, but that wasn't the last episode. This is a huge spoiler, but it's like 20 years old, and I think I can spoil it. The last episode, the Red, Ryu, and Corey the White are getting married, and he's going there, but he's probably hungover, so he's late. Then he gets stabbed. He tries to stop a mugger, and he gets stabbed on the way. So he goes to his friend's funeral. Not funeral, oh God. He goes to his friend's wedding, sits on a bench, gives them his blessing, says he's a little hungover, and it pans to the sky. A guy who just saved the world died of a small knife. And we never knew he really died until just the other year in Gokaiger, where they confirmed it by showing his gravestone and having him come back as a ghost to kick all kinds of ass. It is unfathomable how cool it must be to an old guy in Japan watching this with his kid, but from a kid who just started watching these shows, even I could see just how much they loved their history in this great anthology series. Gokaiger is the one you want to see if you want to see everything and sample it a little bit. It's kind of like Kamen Rider Decade, except it doesn't suck. Oh, yeah, Spider-Man. It's kind of a jerk to Guy Yuki on this one. But this is what we started with. Jyuden Sentai Kyuryuger. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It started in 1992 in Japan. Basically, more or less the same with a little bit of changes. There wasn't really a command center. They were frozen knights who used to fight Pandora, not Rita Repulsa. And they had the magic wizard Bandora to help with Pandora and Bandora. And fighting with, she works for Satan. Satan. She works for the big Satan.
Wait.
There's more already.
Zordon works for Satan in Japanese Power Rangers.
No, the Pandora.
Pandora.
Yes.
Okay.
They have similar names, so I can use them.
Alright.
Was there a small Satan?
Huh?
Was there a small Satan? Was there a small Satan? There's a big one.
There should be a small Satan.
Died
shouldn't
with
there?
a
Little tiny knick-knack minion.
Well, guess that's what
right
little Nicky
shoulder.
is, right? Small Satan.
Oh, it's like picture knick-knack from the Golden Man.
Anyway,
Are you
this
saying
is where they started. Jetman, they wanted to, but they did this because dinosaurs. Some of the big key differences in the first episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they got their suits, their weapons, their mechs, and their Megazord. In Sentai, they only got their suits in the first episode. A few episodes later, they got their weapons. Then they got their mechs, and a few episodes later, they could combine. It had a nice gradual pace. In America, it was more of a kids show. They had to show the kids all the toys today. So character building and pacing went out the window.
So that they knew what to ask their parents for.
Then there's this. We've never seen, well, we've seen the white one.
White.
Hold on to him. You've never seen those other five, have you? This is Ranger. Power Rangers was doing so well at the time, they didn't want to switch over to the new season suits. So they kind of didn't. Saban asked Bandai to record new footage with those suits, which has been labeled Ju 2. But to make it a little different, to keep the series evolving, they dropped the Green Ranger for their White Ranger since he has a similar-ish aesthetic. Now, Ranger was based off Chinese martial arts, and they got the Ranger's mechs. The Kirin, the Unicorn, the Bear, the Dragon, the Phoenix. I think they changed Kirin to something in Power Rangers, but I can't remember. I was a child. Oh, the White Ranger was a kid. What? Yes, he was named Ko. And he would molest the Pink Ranger. What? He would grab her boobs. He's 9 years old. What would you do if you had superpowers and a skateboard?
Yeah, that's actually pretty great. It's like skating around in suits.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And Power Rangers did borrow this idea in Turbo. And his henshin device, he didn't have a morpher. In Ranger, they used a wrist-mounted morpher. He took his sword Saba, which talked a lot more in the Japanese, rose him to the sky, transformed, and became an adult. He goes through puberty in every episode. Exactly. Except he's age 8, and he's going to be a alleged sex offender for the rest of his life. And Ninja Sentai Kyuryuger. We got this. Again, sort of. They used the suits, and they used the mechs separately. Kyuryuger became Alien Rangers in America, but again, in Japan, new year, new Sentai, new story, new mechs. It became the mini-series Alien Ranger, but they had their own story about two kids awakening an ancient evil in Japan and having to fix it because in Japan, if you break something, you have to save the world, right? Also, Kyuryuger was, weird. They would get sound effects as they hit people, like bazap, oh no, shabam, like the old Adam West show. Japan loved it. We didn't get any of this. They also had their first evil team. They had a team of pussy. 5 kitty cats were turned into the Hana Rangers, who had some colors that we have only recently been getting.
Is that the reason why we have that character cat prepared?
Maybe. That's an idea, but she was evil, she turned good, and she was a pink.
And she turned into a cat.
Yes, and Hana Rangers there is a pink, but we never got any of these suits in America. There was orange, pink, blue, green, and purple. The Hana Rangers were awesome and high.
There really aren't.
And we really need an evil all-female Sentai again. Then there was Jyuden Sentai Orange, which we got full-on as Power Rangers Zeo, was Zeo Rangers, sorry. This is the first time we got all the suits, all the mechs for the new season. It has a bit of a difference in Japan, where it was a much more serious Sentai as a government organization fighting terrorists. There was some problems in Japan at the time, namely terrorist attacks on the subway and people dying. So this hit a little close to home and Sentai was nearly cancelled. Oh, and their sixth? He was a kid too. He was the guy who originally sealed away the evil machine empire, but yeah, he woke up 6 million years later.
It's just
sort of like a black Asian avatar. Yeah, the terrorist stuff. And this nearly killed Sentai. And it really helped Power Rangers. Now let's flip the coin. Yeah, it would end in Japan. The next series, Car Ranger. This saved Sentai in Japan and nearly killed Power Rangers. Car Ranger is not to be taken seriously whatsoever. They are the safe driving Sentai. Yes, safe driving. While Power Rangers Turbo was the stupidest thing to exist, this was stupider and Japan ate it up. They got baked in a pizza. Do I need to go farther? Also, skip this, where is it? Yes, they had their own evil Sentai, the Reckless Driving Rangers. Bosu Sentai Zoku Ranger. Yeah. The middle one is red with a gun. I don't know how to explain these guys. They never had suits, but they called themselves a Sentai. There's a weird blue thing, a frog, a red dude, a long-necked chicken, and a creepy cat. This saved Sentai. I don't know how, but it worked. Denji Sentai Mega Ranger. I love Power Rangers in Space so much that I cannot enjoy Mega Ranger. Power Rangers in Space was to be the end of Power Rangers, but it did well and they made another series. Mega Ranger was just another year. It is nothing like Power Rangers in Space. It is all about VR and technology and fighting enemies from the Neji realm, the Twisted realm. They did go to space sometimes. They summoned a spaceship for their fights, but that was all they really did in space. Power Rangers in Space took so much liberties, it is a completely different series, to the point where almost all of the fight scenes are reshot. The only things that are really used are the mech battles. Excuse me, and they even redid some of them. Then there was this. The Psycho Rangers. Still my favorite evil Sentai, evil Rangers. This is the first time we got ourselves some evil Rangers, and they're awesome. They're ruthless, they're crazy, they're psychotic, and they kind of died in crappy ways. They aren't the big bads of the series, so they don't get an epic send-off.
They come back in the series now.
Only in America. That was only in Power Rangers where they got brought back. They didn't happen in the crossover in Sentai. Speaking of the next series, Jyuden Sentai Dynaman. Again, nothing to do with space. Space worked for the last Sentai, the last Power Rangers, so they made this Lost Galaxy. They have some galactic terms and stuff, but they're all about protecting the Earth, a sacred forest on the Earth, and using those animals, not using space gorillas that turn into Megazords. Ginga and Power Rangers share a lot. This was the first time that they really got the story close, as in the Red Ranger not being the Red Ranger. His brother was supposed to be. But he died, and then he came back, and then he was useless. This was also the first time that we did not have a 6th Ranger, but an extra hero, or a Bangai hero, where he does not have the word Ranger in his name, but he still helps them out and acts the same way. In America, he's like the Black Bull. In Japan, he's the Black Knight. Also, nice little side note, their enemies were space pirates. I think some of you know where this is going to go.
Metroid?
He-Man, yeah, nothing to do with space. I talk faster than I type. Jyuden Sentai Go-Go V. This was Lightspeed Rescue. Who was that thing in the middle? Never. No. Exactly. He's an American-made Ranger. They were a family. All of them were related, and that's their dad. He gave them their power to protect the world, basically. They still have a very similar story. This is at a time where Power Rangers started to respect and use the stories more, but they started to change things. Of course, they weren't fighting demons in Japan, which demons in a kids show in America was a big leap. But then let's get to the Titanium Ranger and that guy. He was the demon hunter Sig. He would fight the demons and be a little bit more brutal. We got the Titanium Ranger, who, if you look, it's a different kind of material made from the others. Obviously, we made him on our own, and he is not going to be referenced in any pirate rangers in the American future, where they use all of the 6th Rangers. Sadly.
What was up with that Megazord? The first Megazord was, don't get me wrong, stupid when it comes to the whole, oh, let me take the green plane and
God.
Zords together.
Not all ideas can be winners. We will see some bad ideas soon. Trust me. Hey, I like Shinken Hao. Meanie. Next, Time Ranger from 2000. Want to know something else about Time Ranger?
Van Damme?
Well, aside from the Quantum Ranger, which I'll get into in a second, their storyline was extremely similar. It could have been copy-pasted like they did Power Ranger Samurai, but it didn't suck. That's the thing. Samurai blew chunks and kind of ruined all of the Japanese of the series, while this, you know, they had some mutants and stuff, but the core story about the guy being the future descendant of the Future Red was the same, the characterization was the same, and in the end, it was a very similar series. But let's talk about that extra red, Time Fire. You know how I tried not to spoil Burai and what happened to him? Well, he dies. Power Rangers die, like you saw with Guy Yuki, but this is where they started a theme. If you're a 6th Ranger and you have a dragon mech, your days are numbered. Hence, at the end of Time Ranger, Naoto dies. He falls off a building, distracting an enemy as his friends are saving the world.
So it's only if you have a dragon mech and you're a 6th Ranger?
It's going to happen again, and again, and again.
I'm not a 6th Ranger.
I'm just saying, it's gonna happen.
I like getting married.
Goku Sentai, Gao Ranger. This was again a time where we repeated the Sentai, and it was awesome. And I don't care what you say. I liked Jungle Force, was it?
Wild Force.
Wild Force.
I liked it.
They used the word force too many darn times. It's confusing. Wild Force was awesome. They had a rookie red, and they collected the things. It got 100%. Here's the awesome thing. You know how we had Forever Red? And that was awesome, and no one can deny it except for weird physics and breathing on the moon, and the big bad Beetleborgs are bad guys.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. Gao Ranger had Gao Ranger versus Super Sentai, where 5 past Rangers came back to help them. Big one, Sokuchi Bamba. If you want to watch an old series that is awesome, look up Jack. Sokuchi is a boss. His henshin device is a rose. I don't need to say more.
Dun, dun,
Red Falcon,
dun, dun.
an older series. I skipped some of them because it's kind of a waste of time. They had a pink, Mega Pink from just a few years ago. And they had a yellow, Ginga Blue, just another year ago, and Go Yellow, Daemon Tatsunami. Mostly recent, two very old ones, so that your older friends might watch it, or you might just be like, oh, where'd this come from? Let me torrent that series. And yes, I do encourage torrenting these because you can't get them legally or at all. And oh, at the end, you know how they had 20 how many did they have, Red Rangers? 10, 25. They lined up all of the Red Rangers, and they used their power to help beat the final enemy.
I got pissed off with Forever Red because they missed one of the Rangers, Rocky, and he could have.
There's a reason for that. He moved and he missed the call. They did interviews with him and he regrets it. There are anniversary things coming in Power Rangers. He might not miss the call this year.
Outfit at that time. He could have used it.
That wasn't ever in Sentai, but they could have used that. The next series, Suppa Sentai Kyuryuger. I'm currently watching a sub of this from a new fan group, and it is awesome, and there's a big reason why it's awesome. Well, first let's talk, it started as 3. This is kind of became a theme of, after you have an anniversary series, you start off with a 3 Ranger team and you grow it. The 3 were a light blue, a male yellow for once in a long time, and a red. Obviously elemental, a lot like Ninja Storm. Then they got Gao Rangers. They actually had a different name. Not Gao, Go Rangers. Oops. Go Ranger. Hey, to be nice. They were antagonists, but they were shown in the opening so they knew they were gonna help. It's not very good to do that. But there's something awesome about this. Aside from the Shurikenger, who had no form in the original, he would take the form of past Sentai. Like their actors would randomly appear, they would turn to him and they would help save the day. And he wasn't a samurai, he was a ninja still. He would just go into fire mode, which he drops his armor, flicks that thing around, and he kicks all of the ass.
Not watching all this.
Yes, still awesome. I did not put it in here, I forgot. The reason that Hurricaneger, in my eyes, is one of my favorite series is this lady right here, Nao Asagawa, who is my waifu. Why is she my waifu? You see that suit right there? Well, that's her in it. She does all of her own stunts in and out of the suit. She broke her collarbone during the finale, and she still works in Tokatsu. I love this woman. To this day, she makes guest appearances in the shows. In Kamen Rider, in 4s, she was a teacher. In Double, she tried to jump Terry's bones. She was 2 people in Kamen Rider Double. She just loves Tokatsu. She has tons of toys. She is a fangirl who does everything on her own. And I want her to come to America so I can eventually have a restraining order. Let's move on. Baku Sentai Abaranger. It's dinosaurs again. Yeah. Wonder what's gonna happen.
They all live happily ever after.
No, they all don't live happily ever after.
The red one.
Dinosaurs go extinct.
It's another one where they have a 3 starting off. This wasn't an anniversary series, but the last one did good, so they started to try this again. In America, they had civilian powers, and that was stupid. They don't here. That's good. And then they got 2 later on in the series. Abare Black. He was their 4th. He is kind of treated like a 6th Ranger, though. He isn't used as often, and he is held back at times. He is immediately stronger than the first 3. He is more knowledgeable. Things hold him back, but the main reason this is awesome?
Yes.
Abare Killer. This man is a man among men. He is the Kamina of this series. Even though he's a bad guy, and a jerk, and a doctor who likes to kill people. And he's a musician. And his mech is a vicious paragon. And he gets other ones. And he is a villain up until the last few episodes, where he starts to help them. And you guess what happens? He dies. I don't show that one because it's actually a sad scene. He dies.
America is awesome because you didn't do that whole stupid. Just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, in America, they cloned him and he had an evil clone. The American writers weren't very good. But let's get to Deca Ranger. There was a Deca Ranger cosplayer here. That was Teeny Fox. She is amazing and very small. Well, of course, Teeny is in her name. But Deca Ranger was really cool. You see how there's 7 of them there? There's more than 7 in this series. It was one of the only series to have more than 6 Rangers at a time. Unless you count Ninja Captor, which I don't go into. Ninja Captor is the not Sentai of the Sentai. Look it up on your own. It's very interesting and it is never acknowledged. While Ava Ranger only ever had 4 real Rangers, Deca Ranger had 10. Deca means 10. It was a pun. Japanese like their puns. If you've read One Piece, you know Oda loves his puns. They start off with the normal 5, and then they get 5 more, including the movies, and I do count the movies since some movies are canonical. They get up to form a full team. From clockwise, they are Deca Break, Deca Bright, Deca Master, Deca Swan, and Deca Gold. Deca Break is their 6th. Deca Master is their 7th, but also their leader. Deca Swan is their coach-type lady who builds their powers, who gets her powers once. What was it? Deca Bright only appears in the final episode, and she does appear in the Power Rangers version of this for 1 episode for a few minutes.
Yeah, last episode she kind of showed.
Just randomly, I think it was to appease fans that they didn't know they had. And
they had the suit, so.
yeah, and Deca Gold got her powers for just about 10 seconds. But it counts, she fully henshined, it just disappeared because crap happens to people. And in America, we made a joke out of it by having the retard of the SPD help. It was orange in America. We made the suit, we couldn't get it since it was movies, and we have to license the movies separately. Oh, Power Rangers SPD was big. It got a dub in Japan. The voice actor, the actors who did the Deca Ranger dubbed SPD. This is what Japanese stoners watch at 2 a.m. You want to know what else it gave? The Battleizer. Japan loved our Battleizer. So in the crossover movie with the next Sentai, their Red took the dog, took him apart, and put him on himself to have the first Japanese Battleizer.
We never had a Battleizer?
That is an American-made thing. We have our own things. Yeah, we're not completely thieves. Except most of our culture.
Yeah, only most.
Magi Ranger.
Big ol' happy thing.
Yes. Again, they are all related. So any of the romance that you would have been expecting, it's still there. Yeah, it's just creepy. Japan loves that incesty thing. Yeah, I know what you're doing. It's creepy. But it was a good series.
Yeah.
Everyone in this is related to them. You know, Maggie White? That's their mom. It's cute, and it's a good series. I just couldn't get into it. But want to know something big about this? Well, no, he wasn't a stoner. It was the most popular Sentai in Japan. Kids love magic. Simple as that. It is the best ratings and some of the best sales ever. But let's get to Bokenger. Bokenger's awesome. Bokenger...
Wait, before you go into that, did they decide, and I was always worried because it just seemed like it came out around the same time, did they decide to go with the Magic Rangers because of Harry Potter?
Yes. There's also in Kamen Rider Wizard, his 4 forms, colors are based on the Harry Potter houses. I have actually made a shirt because of that. If you want, I'll show you that later, and the Haruto, because she might like it. But Bokenger, it tries to throw back to the original feeling of adventure. And the red is the fiery adventurer. It is a blast of a series. They have a lot of mechs. One of their mechs has a drill fist. If you're a Gurren Lagann fan, you should go watch this. Also, it's another anniversary series, so we have something awesome happening. Oh, and in America, they had that Once a Ranger thing, where Adam came back, and that was pretty darn cool. Wanna know what's cooler? This. Well, Gao Ranger versus Super Sentai, Gokensha versus Super Sentai. 5 previous come back. Hurricane Blue, because she loves Sentai and I love her. Magi Yellow, because why not? He was popular. Deca Break, we needed a 6. Abare Black, and Magi Shine, another 6. Weird. But someone new came. Someone that the fandom loves. Someone that's name translated makes no sense. Aka Red. This guy right here is everything you wanted to be as a child. Aka Red is the spirit of every red Sentai in existence. At a moment's notice, he can assume any of their forms. And it's awesome. He exists just for specials and anniversaries. His name literally means red. As I said, it's stupid, but he's cool, so we forgive him. And if you notice, his belt has 3 X's. No, it's not for porn. It's also 30th anniversary. It changes. That's the Dojin stuff. We don't pay attention to that here, man. Next, one of my favorite Sentais of all time, Jyuden Sentai Kyuryuger, who Zell would love to fight. They started with 3 again, because anniversary, 3. But they only had 5 Rangers in total. They had a purple Power Ranger, or Senshi if you want to call it, and I loved him. They were based on different Chinese and worldly martial arts. Their purple, who was a wolf, was a Muay Thai fighter. Do I need to explain how cool a Muay Thai fighter is? Yes? I will be here for another hour. And their 5th, quote unquote, instead of using fist fighting, he could shave his aura into a blade and cut things. He was their savant of things. He did not need to train. He was just awesome. He was also the first Sentai to ever have facial hair. And it was kind of cute. Oh, and I just love Geki Violet. I can't help it. He's a boss. This was one of the first Sentai to have character songs on their albums. You know how in America they might release soundtracks. In Japan they release character albums for anime where the voice actors will sing a song. He got 2. This was the first time that they started doing character albums, which I have them on YouTube if you look them up. They're really good. He got 2. I can't even remember their names right now. I watched this maybe a year or 2 ago. I need to rewatch it. Next, Engine Sentai Go Oncher, which is not my favorite Sentai, but it's really good. Power Rangers is awesome. If you haven't watched RPM and you like Power Rangers, go watch it. It's the fandom coming back, and they make references to Go Oncher, and why their mechs have eyes, and why explosions happen when they henshin. Because that crap is weird.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it kind of asks the question, what would happen if I'm taking a poop and I hit the button? Am I going to destroy the toilet and get it everywhere?
all of this.
Again, they start with 3, but they quickly expanded into 5 in the first 3 episodes. Their core team only had 1 girl, though. But their 6th was a 6th and a 7th, and it was a pair of twins. Gold and silver, man and woman. And no, there wasn't any incest in this one.
Oh.
Just want to put that out there. It happens a lot, though. This one. This was my first Sentai, Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. And it has a very close place in my heart. And then Power Rangers Samurai ripped open my chest and pooped in that way. Power Rangers Samurai molested my heart for this show. Don't wait. You don't want to know this feeling. Yes, Saban got it back, and then they shoot it like a redheaded stepchild until Mega Force, which is pretty good. This is honestly the best good Sentai of the 2000s, in my opinion, and my opinion's only good for me, and you don't want to listen to my opinions, they're weird. And it, honestly, it pays attention to so much Japanese culture that the American version just couldn't do it. There was no way. The red is a samurai lord. The main four are his retainers. It is their duty that they've been raised since from birth to help him. That is a concept we just cannot get. And we can't put into a kid's show, so they just all hang out together or something. I couldn't watch more than 5 episodes of Power Rangers
It wasn't like that. They were all called when he needed help.
Yes, but the Red Ranger was white. How's a white guy a descendant from a samurai? And that white. I'm okay with him being half Japanese, but boy was Caucasian. It was like me trying to do it. And we don't get a me in Sentai for a few years. And yes, we do get a white guy in Sentai, and he's a ranger. Oh, this theme song for Shinkenger is so much better. Aside from being awesome, they got a crossover with the Kamen Rider Decade.
Yeah.
And it was the same writer who wrote both Shinkenger and Kamen Rider Decade, so that's why they...
So why does Shinkenger rock and Decade not?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it was the first crossover between Sentai and Kamen Rider, and people loved it. So much so that they decided to... I'll talk about that in a few minutes. The next... Go Seizure. They aren't all winners.
Oh, wow.
Again, this is just my opinion, but I don't like Go Seizure at all, and Megaforce is immediately 1,000 times better. Megaforce is, angels. They are angels defending the earth that fell out of heaven. And I don't get it. I will not claim to understand everything.
Did it hurt?
When they henshin, angel wings come up behind them and float them, and then they explode. And then they're henshin, and it's stupid. Also, their Red Ranger's kind of a wuss. Admittedly, they're 6, it is not a ranger. Go say knight. Why is there an equal sign in there? Yeah, I know, but I don't remember. He is their 6th, and he's pretty freaking awesome. Admittedly, he's the best part of the series, but Bandai calls him a 6th Ranger, and I don't get that, but we'll find out soon enough. Why will we find out? Because of this. Kaizoko Sentai Go Kai. Oh my god. Kaizoko Sentai Go Kaiger, which is the fandom exploding. You see all of that.
Whoa. That will never happen here in this.
Yes, it will. It will, and it is going to. No, they actually reshot a lot of this Ranger War that I'm going to talk about. Not only do some of those guys not exist in America, that's why they reshot it. But Gokaiger is the 35th anniversary season, so they decided to pull out all the stops. Make this the decade of Power Rangers, but it not suck. Decade had a cool gimmick, where in his belt he would put a card from a different rider, slap it in, and he'd turn into it. That's awesome. No matter what I say about Decade, it was an awesome idea. For Gokaiger, all of the previous teams got beat. They all joined together to stop a vanguard of an invading force, used all their power and lost. All those powers were condensed into keys. They collected them in the middle of space and came to Earth to find the greatest treasure in the universe. The Triforce. And they use that. And if you've noticed, the girls can become reds. Yes, they have gender swapping rangers. We have 2 female reds. In Shinkenger, there was a legit female red. They have a key for that. There is a ranger key for every ranger. Do you know how many there are? Over 200. There's 199 normal ones, and let's see, there's an Aberrate Pink for Joke Ranger. In total, there is about 260 something ranger keys, and they're still making them. It is a great gimmick, they make a ton of money, and they have taken all of my monies. And and this happened. Before Gokaiger started, this was the Ranger War. This is everything awesome about everyone who's ever liked Power Rangers or Super Sentai ever. It is 199 suited heroes kicking the crap out of everything. I can't describe this in words. I'm not going to show you this because you have to watch it on your own. Because if you're the slightest bit of a fan, you will be squealing and crying and doing other things that you shouldn't do in public. Yeah, they had tribute episodes. They would take one full episode and dedicate it to a previous season. Not only that, they would write the episode as the previous season did. For instance, in Shinkenger, they would write it like an old samurai flick. So when they did a Shinkenger episode, it was written like an old samurai flick. It was even called an act instead of an episode. This was their Deca Ranger tribute. I took this from the episode that I have been watching. Oh, and their sixth?
Oh, man.
Yes, Gokai Silver. He is literally an Ascended fanboy. He is an Earthling. All the Gokaigers are from space and different planets with good backstories. Watch this series, but I'll talk about him. He is a fan of Super Sentai. In their universe, all the Sentai exist, and they have all saved Japan at one point or another. And this kid loves them all. Oh, and he's a 6th Ranger, and he has a dragon mech.
Oh, no.
Hold your tongue. And he dies at the very beginning when you see him. He gets hit by a car trying to save a little girl. And then the ghosts of Dragon Ranger, Timefire, and Abare Killer bring him back to life, give him their Ranger keys and their ultimate powers, and make him Gokai Silver.
That makes sense.
That is so awesome. His mech is a bipedal dragon, like the Dragon Zord, with a drill tail that can turn into a full-on mech with a drill arm. His final attack is the triple dream drill.
Giga.
Sentai loves drills. They need to make a drill-based Sentai. They have been teasing us for years.
Led by Simo.
Then put them all together. I just want to see it once, and not just fanfics or fan drawing. I want it real.
Simone, what are you
You see this big weapon right here? Normally, they have a crossover with the previous season, but because it was an anniversary season and a big one, they had a crossover with almost all of them. By some plot MacGuffin, the original enemy of the original Sentai, Go Ranger, the Black Cross King, came back, and he stole all the Ranger keys, except for the 5 Gokaigers and the Go Sagers who decided to come back because they were still relevant. And he had them fight them. The Gokaigers and the Go Sagers fought every previous Sentai, including their 6th Rangers and their extra heroes. It was spine-chillingly epic. And it didn't end there. They created this bazooka out of the power of all of them, and they took out a mech with it. But it's not over. This.
Yeah.
In one fight scene, the basic form of every giant robot was there. Go watch this. Just type in ending scene of Gokaiger versus Go Sager 199 Legend Battle, or however the fan subbers decide to put it in. There are a few different ones. Every mech, a ton of previous bad guys, the coolest thing ever. It is, yeah, that's most of the bad guys right there. They didn't stand a chance. And at the end of it, oh shit, I didn't put it in there. Well, at the end of it, the Gokaiger's mech fuses with the Go Ranger's plane. But this is the one that came after it. We come after anniversary series, you start with 3 Rangers. This is Go Buster. Go Buster's weird to me. Not only did they change the fabric, which shouldn't be a big deal, it just makes it look different, they're all leather. But that was the first of many changes for Go Buster. Go Buster was a good series, I just couldn't get into it. I dropped it at episode 12. They tried to do something which you shouldn't try to do. Normally, Sentai is This season is serious. This season is funny. Like O-Ranger and Car Ranger. Balances it out. They tried to do both. And it didn't work. It didn't work so bad that this was the worst ratings in Super Sentai history. They got a new opening and ending theme, which had never, or at least never happened to my knowledge. And they got a slapped-on super form that is basically take some of the leftover parts from their little robots and put them on them. It is half-assed. It is an insult to me as a fan, and I did not enjoy it one bit. But something happened during Go Buster. Something epic. Something which the fandom needed. This. Yes. Jyuden Sentai Kyuryuger. It is not an official Sentai. They are the unofficial. That's what Hotoken means. Do you want to know why they're unofficial? It's a parody. Bandai understood that they have fans that are getting older, so they decided, let's have fun with them. Let's make their villain be an ex-porn star. Yes, Malashina, their villain.
I'm watching.
Oh my god.
You can find the links to her stuff in other places, don't worry. Not in that suit, not in that suit. That's copyrighted right there. That's what dojins are for. Running alongside Go Buster, this killed Go Buster's ratings even more than it just not being good. This was a juggernaut of fandom. There is no way to explain how the fans reacted to this. It was the most positive thing ever, except for those few hipsters that said they didn't like it because everyone else did. Some people were just jerks. They made fun of everything. Their henshin poses, they couldn't get them right. Their explosions knocked them on their butts. In the first episode, they thought they were going to get a giant mech fight, so they sat on a hill. Is it going to happen yet? Isn't it supposed to happen? Okay. And if you are a fan of even Power Rangers, watch this. Think of it like this. All of their fights are in their heads. They're delusional. They're crazy. They get crazier through this. A little bit of a spoiler here. They get so crazy at one point, they break into reality.
And they see themselves.
And do you want me to spoil this because there's a second season?
No.
Okay. Because it gets so much better, and I want to talk about it, but I understand.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Season 2 won't be the same.
They didn't get a season 2 originally. Instead, they got a radio show because the fans begged for it. A 3-episode radio show that was awesome. And in this radio show, one of the villains of their series, a alpaca? Yes, who did the voice for the Mober in Gokaiger. He decided to make a Gokaiger call for a Kiba Ranger during it, and the fandom loved them. But something else happened because the radio show and the series was so popular. This just recently was announced. Oh, yeah, they had stage shows. I forgot about this. But that's another story. I clicked too many times. Season 2. It debuts in April. I don't know what it is, but I want it. It is... I think it's a girlfriend stuck to him. Now he has one. I don't know. There's so little known about it, and I'm avoiding spoilers. Literally, this is only existing because the fans liked it so much. And there are a few changes in it, like the blue, which is my friend's favorite ranger, is gone. It's sad. The yellow and the blue have slightly different designs, so you have to buy the figures again, and the red is a different design. But his is different enough to justify buying a figure, not a different headpiece. Jerks. But then, the next Sentai legitimately happened. Jyuden Sentai Kyuryuger. It just started, and I tell you this, I am in love with this series. It is the most upbeat, epic thing ever. Where Go Busters tried to be dark and funny, they just said, screw it, we're having fun. Kyuryuger dances. They are a Samba-ing dinosaur Sentai. Sambasaurs. They are a dinosaur Sentai. I'm looking at you.
I see you looking at.
Something's gonna happen soon.
Hi, I'm the Red Ranger from
Yes,
Kyuryuger.
she's cosplaying the Red Ranger from Kyuryuger, Daigo, or as he likes to be called, King.
I'm the king of everything.
Yes, you are. And that is their henshin device, a gun.
Well, I just want everyone to hear the great music. Oops.
Wrong button.
Self-destruct initiated.
Oh, I have the battery.
It's a double-barreled gun. Bottom barrel henshin, the top barrels are
The
super attack.
dinosaurs are powered by batteries, but you all should know that.
Yeah, they throw across the universe.
This is what we dance and transform to.
That right there should be enough for us. This is their ending theme.
Oh, yeah.
Let me restart it. I want to dance to this. I can't. You know the move. I kind of knew what Oh, and what they were saying is the pink is the Triceratops, and it's got a drill butt.
And she's got like
Yes, and she's hot. But as she's getting character development, shows the one girl, they all also have unique fighting styles, which is a little different. The black on the end is a gunner, you know, kind of classic, you know, basic. The blue uses power moves. The kind of guy who you would expect to grab someone and do a German suplex. The pink uses what looks like a type of kickboxing. The green uses a backhanded sword style that looks ravenous.
It is the coolest thing.
And the red uses capoeira.
Yeah.
No, he dance fights, which matches everything. This.
Ramirez.
This right here is the thing that made me so happy I did not know how to react. Kyoryu Cyan. He is a 7th Ranger. Kyoryu Ranger is rumored to have 10 Rangers. Their 6th isn't important because he doesn't show up yet. Their 7th, on the other hand, see that little white guy in the corner? The white guy who is a Sentai in Japan. He is a white Power Ranger in Japan. It's a kind of a crappy image because I didn't clip it from the episode because I haven't seen it. I've been busy. This is a giant thing. A few months ago, before this series started, I was reading. He actually speaks really good Japanese too. He was in shows before, like I think a Space Battleship Yamato. He is big, white, fuzzy, and has thick hair. It looks like he will make this character metal as hell. And I hope he does.
The metal green.
And he smiles. And since he speaks Japanese and he's obviously not from Japan, it's very textbook and a little plain. To make up for that, he just smiles and talks in a high-pitched voice and has a lot of fun with it. Which I hope sets a good standard. A few months ago, I started an interview with one of the directors of, I think, Kyoryu Ranger or Wizard or something, and he said he wants to have a white 6th Ranger permanently on a team, or a white 2nd Rider. And I mean out of America, talk Japanese, straight up white guy, not just a white actor who lives in Japan. They want to get an American actor. This is unbelievable how it happened. I don't know how to explain this. They had a joke in Shinkenger where a American, he was Italian.
Oh.
Yeah, they had a white American who they saved in Shinkenger who tried to become a ranger with them. He got his own self-made armor and called himself Shinken Brown. The fandom loved this. Even though he said he was American, he was an Sicilian actor. It's still a big deal. He was an unofficial hero. This is official. This means that all of us who like Sentai, there is a small, minuscule glimmer of hope that if you know Japanese and you can act, it may one day actually happen. And that is something that a fanboy like myself cannot begin to fathom ever happening. He's like 40-something. And to end it off, for those of you that were on the first panel and you saw the opening of Gokaiger, this is the ending song from the movie. Oh. Hey.
Or not.
I decided to be a dick on me. Balls.
Yeah, we can't keep referencing that. Really shouldn't.
Yes, that's Shirley Boy's Alpha. He's the leader of the Ghost Agents. First appears to go back over. And that's Captain Marvel. That's his name. You will love him. And this is the one we know. No, not that one. They already have the keys. They're looking for the greatest treasure in the universe, on Earth. When they come there, the people that think Rangers speak come back. I'm trying not to spoil it, because there's no story in Gokaiger. It's just awesome. No, there is.
Kind of a story, I guess.
There's kind of a story the way Twilight has one.
Yeah,
I don't like comparing the two.
It takes a back seat to
Basically, oh, the final battle is one of the more epic things. If you watch Gokaiger, say, screw story, they just turned into 5 different Sentai at once. In one episode, they turned into all 6 Rangers. They turned into all reds, all blues, all greens, and all pink. One. If you have, yes, their leader, Marvelous, turns into the MMPR pink without a skirt, and he kicks ass. If you have any interest in watching any of these shows, I highly advise you to look them up. Overtime subs do these. TV Nihon does these. I prefer Nihon. It's a personal opinion. I like theirs more. Overtime does fantastic subs a lot quicker. Grown-ups in spandex do a lot of them. And there's also another series runs alongside this called Kamen Rider. I have some sketches I got made. If you want to see them, come up here and look at it. I'll tell you who they are. Thank you all for coming. You missed closing ceremonies for a tiny, minuscule fandom, and I love every single one of you for this. Thank you.